my name is Emily and welcome to Sweet Creek Patterns. In today's video, I'm very excited to be sharing how to crochet this beautiful pillow. So this is actually a super fun repeat. Once you have done 2 rows of bobbles, you're just going to repeat that up the rest of the pillow. So this is very flexible. You could totally do a solid color. You can see that I changed my colors for my bobbles, but you could do a totally solid color. You could do a variegated. You could change your colors into a variegated color for your bobbles. There's so many different options. And then for the back of this pillow, I just did a plain half double crochet back, but you could totally do front and back the same look. You could do a different color, so you could just switch your pillow around and have like a different look. But yeah, so that is a couple of things about this pillow. Now for a couple of things I want to mention before we jump into the tutorial. The first thing is that I have arch expanders in, which is basically an orthodontics appliance in my mouth. So if you at all are struggling to understand me, I apologize. Please bear with me. But if you are struggling, you can easily, the first link in the description box down below will be for the free blog post for this pillow. So if you want to check the link in the description box down below, I'll have the free written instructions for this pillow. Also, I will also have the ad-free PDF as well in the description box down below. And then the last thing I want to mention is if at any point in this video I'm talking too fast or too slow, you can always adjust the playback speed by clicking the little settings gear icon in the bottom right corner of the video, then click playback speed, and then you can adjust it from there. So I either talk faster or slower, depending on whether you're more of an advanced or beginner crocheter. So I think that's all of the things I want to mention before you jump into the tutorial. So let's go ahead and make this beautiful pillow. Last thing you'll need today is you'll need a 5mm crochet hook. Now I personally love the Clover Amore brand crochet hook, so that's what I'll be using for this tutorial. Then you'll need some scissors, and I'm just using the scissors I have on hand. You'll need a darning needle, and this is my favorite darning needle. I love metal darning needles. I'll put a link in the description box down below to everything I mentioned. Then you'll need some yarn. Now, for this tutorial, I'll be using Hobie Tweed Delight, and you can see it's absolutely beautiful, super soft, super squishy yarn. So this is color number 3, and then this is color number, let's see if I can find it. Where's it at? Looks like it's supposed to be down here. Color number 30. So you can see this is like the dark, I believe it was like granite, and then this one is the light or gray. I'll put links in the description box down below to the colors and the yarn that I'm using. So it's super, super nice yarn. It's actually a mix of wool, acrylic, and viscose, if you can see that there. And then it is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. So whatever number 4 worsted weight yarn you want to use is perfectly fine. It might change the size a little bit just because certain yarns are a little thicker or a little thinner depending on the yarn brand, even if they're a number 4 worsted weight yarn. So I'll be using these 2 colors for the front of the pillow. And then for the back of the pillow, because I don't have much of this yarn left, I will just be using a standard acrylic yarn. So this is Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo, and this is in the color Gray Heather, and it's just a gray colored yarn. It's a little bit thicker than this yarn, but it works just fine. So I'm going to be using this for the back only. So let's go ahead and begin our pillow. So to begin, you're going to want to grab the color that you want to be your main color on the pillow. So for example, with this pillow right here, I did cream as my main color, and then I did black bobbles. So for this pillow, I probably will do this gray color as my main color, and then black bobbles. Alright, so I just found the center pole, and you can see that this is a really It's a little bit of a wool yarn, so it's like kind of finer like wool fibers here. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin by making a slip knot, and we are going to go ahead and insert our hook into that slip knot and pull that to make it nice and tight. One thing that I did forget to mention for the beginning instructions is that you'll obviously need some stuffing or a pillow insert. I personally use stuffing and I'm very happy with that. And then the other thing I want to mention is that I ended up using a little bit more than 2 balls, between 2 and 3 balls of the main color for the front panel only. So if you're going to do the front and back panel, you'll probably need close to 5 to 6 balls of yarn. And if you're just doing the front panel with this yarn, you'll need about 3 balls of yarn. So anyway, let's go ahead and begin. We did the slip knot, and if I didn't show you how to do the slip knot, you can see this is how we'll do it. So to make a slip knot, we are going to put our yarn at the base of our hand. We're going to go ahead and wrap it around our finger twice. We're going to grab the back loop, bring it over into the front. We're going to grab the new back loop and bring it up and over and off our fingers. Then we're going to go ahead and tighten that. Grab our crochet hook, tighten our the loop onto our crochet hook, and now we're going to go ahead and chain 80 chains. So we're going to chain 80, so yarn over and pull through. That's 1 chain, and so we're going to make that 79 more times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and I'm just going to keep making a chain like I've been doing. So we're going to end up with a total of 80 chains at the end. So just go ahead and make a chain of 80, and then I'll meet you back once I have completed all my chains. Alright, so I just did my chain of 80, and now what we're going to do is you have the loop on your hook, and we're going to half double crochet into the second chain from hook. So the loop on your hook does not count as a chain. You're going to skip that first chain, and you're going to work into that second chain where my nail is right there. So one thing that I like to do, and this is totally optional, in fact, I probably won't do it for this pillow. You can work into the side chain, or you can also work into the back side, the back bump of that chain. It basically is the same thing, and I think for this one, I might just work into the side. However, the only nice thing about working into the back side of the chain, so you can see it's a chain. There's the front 2 loops, and then there's the back loop of that same chain. The only nice thing about working to that back bump of the chain is that it gives it a little bit more stretch when you're done with the round, versus if you work in the side chain, it's not quite as stretchy. So I might work into the back loops, but that's totally optional. So you can see there's the next back loop, and I think I forgot to mention how to make a single crochet. So to make a single crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, and you're going to grab that back loop if that's what you're doing. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert, grabbing that back bump, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And we're just going to half double crochet into each stitch across. So make a half double crochet into each stitch across, and we're actually going to do that for the next 2 rows as well. So half double crochet in each stitch across for this row, and then I'll meet you back once I'm done with this row, and then we'll do that same thing though for the next 2 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row. You should have 79 half double crochets at the end of this row of half double crochets. And again, if you work into the back bump or into the side, it really doesn't matter too much. So I'm going to go ahead and keep crocheting. Alright, so I just finished row number 1, and as you can see, this is how it is looking. So we have 79 half double crochets. Now for rows 2 and 3, we're going to simply chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to half double crochet into that very first stitch right here and into each stitch across. So make a half double crochet in that first stitch and then into each stitch across. So super simple for now. Row 2 and 3, half double crochet in each stitch, and I'll meet you back once I finish rows number 2 and 3, and we'll continue on to the bobble round. So like I just said, half double crochet in each stitch. You can see there's the next stitch right there, and I'm going to just make a half double crochet into that. And I'm going to finish out these next 2 rounds, and I'll meet you right back. Alright, so as you can see, I've done my total of 3 rows, and this is how it should be looking. So at this point, and it does tend to want, the chain tends to want to be a little tighter. Don't worry about that. You can crochet a tiny bit tighter just to compensate for it, but it will be fine in the end. The chain will stretch out to be the perfect length and not be a little tight. So it'll loosen eventually. So anyway, we finished row number 3. Now for row number 4, we're going to start working the bobbles. So we're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn our work, and you're going to half double crochet into the first technically 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then for this 9th stitch you don't want to finish it. So you can see I worked a half double crochet into that very first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now for this 9th stitch, you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. And now instead of yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops in your hook, we're going to grab our new color of yarn and we're going to pull that through. So find your center, pull on your new ball of yarn, and let's see if I can find it. Here we go. No, that was not it. There we go. So I'm going to grab this new strand or new color, and what we're going to do is you're going to lay the yarn over your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Okay, so now at this point, you're going to have this tail on the, what will end up being the right side, which is fine. And then we're going to take this gray tail, and instead of letting it go to the right now from where we're working at, the wrong side, we're going to bring it in toward us like that. So instead of letting it lay down back here, we're going to bring it forward towards yourself and just hold that. Okay, so now for the next stitch, we're going to make a bobble. So you're going to yarn over, insert into that next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to do that 3 more times, so for a total of 4. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through pull through the 2 loops, and then yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you should have 5 loops on your hook. And we're going to go ahead, and instead of using this yarn to yarn over and pull through, we're going to grab that gray strand of yarn, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through. So we picked up that gray strand because we never cut the yarn. So yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Okay, now what I like to do is I like to take this black strand and just tighten it just a little bit so it's a little tighter, and bring this forward to the front and just hold it with my thumb. Now we are going to work 9 half double crochets into the next 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, and then if you remember, we didn't finish the 9th stitch last time, so 9, yarn over, insert, then we're going to pick up that same dark charcoal strand, and we're going to, first I have to, so yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, you have 3 loops on your hook, bring this one forward, grab the other strand, and you want to just make sure it's nice and even, don't pull it too tight, otherwise it'll fold together. And don't keep it too loose, otherwise this will loosen. So just keep a nice distance away. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now you're going to pull that strand forward, and you're going to find the next stitch to work into, which is this stitch. And we're going to make a bobble stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 stitches. Now we're going to grab that gray strand. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. We're going to tighten that charcoal strand, bring that forward, and we're going to start working with the light gray again. Again, do 8 stitches, then the 9th one you'll change your color. So total of 9 half double crochets, and then a bobble. So I'm going to keep doing this repeat like we've just done these last 2 times across the rest of my row. So you should end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bobbles at the end of this row. So I'm going to go ahead, work 8 half double crochets, then the 9th one I'm going to switch my colors, and then we'll do a bobble into the 10th stitch. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep working that in each stitch across, and I'll meet you back at the end of row number 4. Alright, so I just got done with row number 4, and as you can see, this is how it should look at this point from the back side, and then from the front side, it should look like this. So there should be a bobble every into the 10th stitch along, and then you can see we have just no bobbles at the end because those are the last 9 stitches. So now that we have row number 4 done, we're going to do the next few rounds. So go ahead and chain 1, turn your work. Now for rows 5, 6, and 7, we are going to half double crochet into each stitch. Now the reason for that is to make a nice separation between the bobble rows. So let me show you on the pillow. Okay, so you can see on this pillow that when I gave it some space, it gives a nice, so the 9 stitches between it, and then 3 rows gives it kind of that nice triangular shape. So that's why we do the 3 rows between each bobble row. So I'm going to go ahead and work these 3 rows of just half double crochet. Now one thing I did forget to mention is you can go ahead and cut your dark gray yarn. I like to just go ahead and cut it after the end once I've finished all the bobbles for one row. And then for the next row of bobbles we do, I just join on again. It makes it easier than trying to bring your yarn all the way back to the other side 3 rows up. So just go ahead and cut your yarn and then continue on. So I'm going to do rows 5, 6, and 7 off camera, and I'll meet you back. So just remember to do half double crochet into each stitch and chain 1 at the ends, and then half double crochet into each stitch across. And yeah, I'll go ahead and work these next 3 rounds or rows, and I'll meet you right back. Alright, so I just finished those 3 rows. So now you can see this is how it should be looking, and it's obviously way longer than what that was looking like. This is how it should be looking. And you can see the chain's a little bit tight, but I'm just going to keep pulling on it a little bit to stretch it, and I think it'll be fine in the end. There we go. So this is how the pillow looks. Now, at this point, we are getting really close to just starting a repeat. So for row number 8, we are going to do a bobble row. Now, this bobble row, we're going to alternate with the bobble row before, and that's literally the repeat you're going to follow. So the bobble row we did originally, then 3 rows, then the bobble row we'll do now. So we're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn our work, and for row number 8, we are going to half double crochet into the first 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, don't finish your 4th half double crochet because we're going to grab our yarn, our dark colored yarn, and you're going to go ahead and yarn over and pull that through. So just like we did before, we did all the half double crochet except for the yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops. So then you grab your new yarn and do that. So you can see there's the 1, 2, 3, and 4 half double crochets. Now we are going to make a bobble in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see, there we go. We're going to bring this yarn down, grab the light gray yarn, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, no, 5 loops. Go ahead and tighten that black strand a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and make a half double crochet, and you're just going to go ahead and single or half double crochet 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're not going to finish the whole 9, so we are going to do the same thing we just did originally. So yarn over, insert, yarn pull through. Now you're going to grab your black yarn from back here. You're going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You're going to take your light gray yarn, bring it forward, and kind of hold that with your thumb. And then we're going to make a bobble stitch into that next stitch. So yarn over, insert, yarn pull through 2. And then you'll do that a total of 4 times. So 3 and 4. Now you're going to grab your light gray yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Tighten your dark charcoal yarn a little bit, bring it towards yourself, and we're going to do another 9 half double crochets. And remember, the 9th will change colors. So this is the repeat you're going to follow for this row. So you're going to, the main difference is that we did, instead of 9 half double crochets, we did 4 half double crochets. So we did 3 half double crochets, into the 4th we changed colors. So a total of 4 half double crochets. Then we did a bobble, then 9 half double crochets, a bobble, then we're going to repeat that. So 9 half double crochets, and then another bobble. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this pattern of 9 half double crochets, and remember the 9th half double crochet you're going to switch your yarn colors. So 9 half double crochets, switch your yarn color on the 9th, make a bobble, then switch your yarn color back at the end of that bobble, and then half double crochet 9, and you're just going to repeat that. And when you flip it over to the front, this is how it should be looking, and obviously that's upside down. So here we go. This is how it should be looking. So you should see that there's a bigger space on the first bobble row, now a shorter space on this bobble row. So it's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish row number 8, and I'll meet you right back. All right, so as you can see from the back side, I've done my bobbles, and this is what it looks like upside down. So now I just did a bobble, and then I worked 8 stitches, and I'm currently in my 9th, and then I have you can see 5 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I just want to come back on and show you how to finish out this round. We're just going to do the same thing that we did on the other side. So grab the yarn to pull through on your 9th stitch. Go ahead and bring this light gray towards yourself. Then you're going to make a bobble. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're going to, and at some point your yarn will get a little bit twisted. Just go ahead and pull it down a little bit so it's less twisted. Go ahead and grab your gray yarn, bring that up. You're going to pull through all 5 loops. Tighten your black yarn, bring it towards yourself, and half double crochet into the last 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we have finished row number 8, and you can see this is how it should look from the back side, and then this is how it should look from the front side. So you can see it's looking super nice and lined up and all cute. So now we're going to do kind of the same repeat. So we're going to start with how we did rows 1 through 3. And then we're just going to literally repeat this again and again and again. So we're going to do 3 rows of half double crochets. Then into that next round, to the round, so this is row 8 we just finished. So you do 9, 10, 11 half double crochet rows. Then for row 12, you're going to repeat what we did for row 4. So we're going to half double crochet 9, into the 10th stitch, make the bobble, and then you're going to repeat that across. Then you're going to do another 3 rows of half double crochets, and then you're going to do what we just did again. So we did the 4 half double crochets into the 5th, make a bobble, then you do 9, make a bobble in the 10th, and you repeat that until you run out of stitches at the end. So you do 9 into the 10th, and then you do 4 half double crochets to end it. So basically, you're going to work your next 3 rows of half double crochets, do the row of bobbling, making a bobble into the 10th stitch, 3 more rows of half double crochets, make a row of making a bobble into the 5th stitch, and then into the 10th stitch after that. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this again and again until you have done 35 rows. So we're going to repeat these 2 bobble rows. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bobble rows in the end. Now, of course, if you have more yarn, you're welcome to make this taller. And if you don't, you can make it always shorter. You can always adjust the length that you do. Of course, we just end with 3 rows of half double crochets at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and work up the rest of this, and I will meet you back. So remember, 3 rows of half double crochets into the 10th stitch bobble, 3 rows of half double crochet into the 5th stitch bobble, then into the 10th stitch. So you're just going to repeat that, and you can always back up the video if you need and repeat exactly the instructions that we've done so far. And yeah, I'll go ahead and finish this and I'll meet you back. Alright, so as you can tell, this is not the same color. I just already had this panel done, so I decided to switch over to working on this panel. So as you can see, I have finished my all of my rows, my 35 rows, and I'm just going to do my last half double crochet right there. Pull up that loop, and you can see this is how it should look. So it should have that nice uniform bobbles. So there's the top, then working down, this should be the bottom. And yeah, I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. So now we're going to make the back panel. So you're going to go ahead and just set aside this front panel, and also you're going to want to weave in your tails at least enough so that they're secure and won't ever come undone. But of course you can always just hide them in the back. So just as long as they're secure, you can call that good. Now we're going to go ahead and make the back panel. You're going to want to grab the color of yarn that is for the back panel. So as you can see right here, this is what the back panel will look like in the end. It's just plain. Now, if you want to do the exact same thing we did for the front panel on the back panel, you're welcome to do that. I just kind of ran out of the yarns I was wanting to use, and so I just decided to do the back panel with this basic yarn Red Heart Super Saver. And so I'm going to show you how to do that for this tutorial, but again, like I just mentioned, if you wanted to do the back panel the same as the front panel, or if you wanted to do different colors so it's reversible, you can do whatever you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 5mm hook again and the yarn that I'll be using. Now if you're using the same yarn that you used for the front panel, it'll be a tiny bit different, and I'll mention that when we get to it. So I'm using Red Heart Super Saver, and we're just going to go ahead and make a slip knot. And again, to make a slip knot, you're going to wrap your yarn around your finger twice. Grab the back loop, bring it to the front. Oops, I lost it. Grab the back loop, bring it to the front. Grab the new back loop, bring it up and over and off your finger. Tighten. And now you're going to go ahead. So for the front panel, we chained 80. Because this is a little bit thicker, I'm going to chain only 70. And the reason for that is just because it's a little bit of thicker yarn. So if you chain 80, your back panel will be way bigger than your front panel. So if you're using a thicker yarn than you use for the front panel, you're going to want to do what I'm doing. If you're using the same yarn as you use for your front panel, you're going to want to chain 80, so 80. So I'm going to go ahead and make a chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go ahead and finish this chain off camera. And again, I'm going to chain 70, and if you want to use the same yarn, you're going to want to chain 80. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 70 and I'll meet you right back. Alright, so I just finished chaining 70 and now I'm going to go ahead and start working back. Now for the back panel, all we are going to do is we're going to just make half double crochets. So you're going to go ahead and find the second chain from your hook. So the loop on your hook does not count as a chain. You're going to skip that first chain, and into the second chain you're going to make a half double crochet. And then you're going to make a half double crochet into each chain across. So you'll end up with 69 half double crochets at the end of row 1. So I'm just working into the side of my chain. I know for the front panel we worked into the back, but you can do whatever you want. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work these 69 double crochets, and I will meet you back once I am done with row number 1. Alright, so I just finished crocheting half double crochets into each chain across. Now what we're going to do is we're simply going to chain 1, turn our work, and we are going to just half double crochet for the rest of the panel. So we are going to do a total of 30 rows of half double crochet. So we're just going to literally half double crochet into that first stitch and into each stitch across, and we're going to do that for the next, well, total of 30 rows. So this is row 2 and we're going to go to 30. So we're going to have 29 more rows including this row to go. So once you have finished, I'm going to go ahead, work these 30 rows of half double crochet, and I will meet you back. Again, remember, if you want to make this the same as the front panel, just to back up the instructions for the front panel and follow those with me. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and work these total of 30 rows, and once I have finished row 30, I will meet you back and we will continue on to crocheting the edging. Alright, I am just coming to the end of row 30 and I'm just going to do my last half double crochet. Now if this back panel is looking smaller or bigger than your front panel, you can always adjust this. Obviously this is super simple, so if your front panel is taller, you can add another row. Now if it's really close to the same, don't worry about it. It's gonna stretch to be exactly the same. I'm only talking about if it's like a big difference. So now we're gonna go ahead and cut our yarn, and we're gonna go ahead and tie off. So yarn over, pull through and pull up and tighten, and there we go. We have our back panel done, and we also have our front panel done. So now we're going to have to crochet these together, and I think I forgot to mention, but with this you're just going to go ahead and tie off like I just did for the back panel. So these are laying nice and flat together and they're looking really great. So now we're going to begin the edging. So I'm going to use the dark color of yarn that I have and the same 5mm hook that we've been using the whole time. And let me set aside my yarn real quick. We are going to grab the dark color and we are going to start, grab this yarn, and we're going to start doing the reverse single crochet stitch. So I'm going to start in the bottom corner. Now with this stitch, we actually go backwards. So if you're used to working like this way, we're actually going to work this way. So let me show you how we do it. I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into that first half double crochet, the chain of that first half double crochet right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into the chain of that first half double crochet on the back panel. Then I'm going to grab my yarn and going to go ahead and lay that over my hook, yarn over and pull through, chain 1, and now we're going to start working the reverse half double crochet. So you're going to insert your hook into, oops, there we go, chain. Okay, so now you're going to insert your hook. I'm going to insert my hook into that same stitch that we just worked into and did the chain out of, and we're going to make a single crochet. So you're going to insert your hook and make a single crochet. Now you're going to grab the stitch back there, so the next stitch over, and remember we're moving backwards, and then you're going to grab the next stitch over on the back panel. You're going to grab your yarn and you're going to make a single crochet. So this is super awkward to show on camera. So hopefully it is making sense. So you're going to insert your hook now into the next stitch over. I'm trying to find that stitch. There we go. And then insert into the back panel of the next stitch over. You're going to grab your yarn, and I just grab it like that. Pull through both those panels, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through two, just like you would a normal single crochet. So you're just going to continue that, going into the next stitch over, back panel, front panel, grabbing your yarn, and making a single crochet. It's super awkward at first, but as you get the hang of it, it's going to get a whole lot easier, and you'll slowly start to get faster at it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working the reverse single crochet, and you can see this is about how it will look. And once you have stuffing in it, it will look so much better, and it will look super, super nice and neat. Don't panic too much if it has a couple like bigger loops. That is totally normal, and honestly, when I first did this, I was super worried, but then as soon as it was stuffed, it looked amazing. So try to be roughly even with your tension, but know that it's going to be a little bit varying, and that's just the beauty of crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and work across this whole bottom panel, and then I'm going to meet you back once I reach this corner, and we will work into the corner and then start working on the sides. Alright, so I have done across the base of this pillow, and you can see some sections have a little bit more of that, like you can kind of see where it comes down, and then some sections are a little bit more perfect looking. I'm calling that good because once you stuff it, you'll notice those, like where it comes down into your stitching less once you stuff it. So I am very happy with how that bottom turned out. And one thing that I'm not sure I mentioned is with the front panel being 80 stitches and the back panel being only 70 stitches, if you did it like how I did it, every like 10 or so stitches, I just worked one stitch into the front and one stitch into the back, and then I did the next stitch, I worked into the next stitch in the front, and then the same stitch in the back. Let's see if I can find. It's really hard to show it on camera because there's really no spot. But here, I'll show you with my yarn right here how I did it. So I went like this. I inserted my hook into that next stitch, then into the next stitch on this, and then grabbed the yarn, did that, and then I inserted my hook into the next stitch in the front panel, and then into the same stitch in the back panel, and made a reverse single crochet. So that is basically what you do, and then once you reach the end, you should be close to correct if you did enough of those. And honestly, when I first designed this with my first pillow, I had like several stitches more on the front side, so then I just did a couple of skipping stitches and you couldn't even see that. So no worries either way. So now that we have come to this corner, we are going to work into the corner. So you can see I have a couple of stitches left, so I'm just going to insert my hook into that front panel and then into that back panel, grab my yarn, pull through, and I'm going to do that a couple more times. Into the front panel and into the back panel, and whoop, there you go. So I just went into that corner, that last chain stitch, the last chain of both the front and back panels. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my single crochet with that. Now we are going to work about 2 more single crochets into that same stitch. So you're going to insert your hook again. Try to move your yarn kind of over a little bit so it doesn't go on top. So this stitch doesn't go on top of the stitch you just made into the corner. So kind of move it over, kind of turn your pillow sideways, and then do it one more time. So insert and pull through. So I did a total of 3 stitches into that corner, and you can see this is roughly how it should look. Let's see if it'll focus. There you go. So this is roughly how it should look. Now we are going to go ahead and begin working up the side. So I'm going to just do the same thing that I did for the bottom, I'm going to find a stitch in the side that looks good to work into, and then find the stitch that seems like it correlates the best on the back panel, and go ahead and work up that. So with the side, there's really no stitch that you're supposed to work into, so you're kind of going to have to insert your hook into a spot that looks correct, and then find a spot that looks correct on the back panel as well. So you can see here's my next stitch. I'm going to insert my hook right into here. And I like to try to find as much of the edge like loops, instead of going through like a whole stitch, as much of like the edge loops as I can. So I'm going to go into that edge loop right there. And I'm going to find this loop right here. Just that outer loop. And go ahead and pull that through. And then I'm just going to keep working up. So instead of going around that whole stitch right here, I'm going to find that edge of that stitch, the edge loop, and then the edge loop here. And you can mix this back and forth. If you prefer to go into the whole stitch, that's totally fine. I'm just trying to make it as minimally noticeable as possible. So I'm going to keep working up this. Now, a couple of stitches you might have to work the front panel into that same back stitch, because we did 5 less rows for the back panel. But that's, again, optional. You can always do it at the end more. But I like to just space it out so it looks a little more even, in case it wouldn't look good the other way. So I'm just going to keep working up, and then occasionally if I notice that I feel like I'm starting to get off lengthwise, I'll do the front stitch into, I'll do another front stitch into that same back panel stitch. So I'm going to keep working up, and then once you reach the corner, do the same thing we did down here. Do 3 stitches into the corner, work across the top, 3 stitches into the corner, and then work down along the side. And I'm going to meet you back once I'm on this side, and we will stuff it. Now, before you fully close it, you are going to want to make sure you have all your tails tied in, and then we'll be good. So I'm going to keep working along these next 3 sides, and then once I am close to done, I'll come back on and stuff it with you and finish up this pillow. Alright, so I have finished now all of the sides, except for I just haven't quite finished this side yet. So we did the bottom together, then we did the side, and then I said to do across the top, across this side right here, and then work down this way. Now you can see I have a nice little gap left, and we are going to go ahead and stuff the pillow. Now, if you wanted to use a pillow form, you're going to have to find a pillow form that fits this size pillow. You'll probably have to take out this little bit so that you can stick your pillow form in. But because I'm going to be using stuffing, and I'm very happy with using stuffing, I'm just going to go ahead and stuff it from the hole that I have right here. So you're going to go ahead and stuff your pillow nice and firm. I like to start by stuffing it all the way on the other side. And then you're just going to slowly work your way over. This will use quite a bit of stuffing, so hopefully you have a decent amount on hand. And so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stuff this pillow nice and firm. You can see it's getting poofy already, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and stuff it, and then I'll meet you back and we will do the last few stitches together. Alright, so I just went ahead and stuffed this pillow, and I think I'm pretty happy with how I stuffed it. Of course you can do it, I would stuff it a little bit on the heavy side personally, but you can do it however you like. So now we're going to go ahead and just finish closing this. I'm just going to keep working down this way. So grab that loop, and we're going to insert, now that it's stuffed, it's going to be a little bit harder. You're just going to insert into the stitch that lines up back and front, and then continue crocheting along this side. And I am really struggling because trying to film this and hold it on this desk is not easy. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working up this side, and I will meet you back once I finish, once I reach the bottom, and then we will be officially done with the pillow. Okay, so I just came along on this side, and I'm very happy with how it looks. So now I did 2 stitches into here, into that corner, because we had already done 1. And now to tie off, I'm just gonna insert my hook around the loop that we used to begin with. And honestly, it's kind of tough to insert your hook anywhere. I just found kind of like a loop there. I'm just going to make a slip stitch if I can. If you can't, you can just tie off and then whip stitch them together. Then you're going to go ahead and cut your yarn. And we are going to go ahead then and tie off. So at this point, you can go ahead and pull that through and tie off. And of course, you're going to want to go ahead and tie in this tail, and then we have officially completed our pillow. Congrats! Thank you so much for making this beautiful pillow along with me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please make sure to give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for weekly crochet tutorials and occasionally crochet vlogs. Also, don't forget to comment down below and tell me what colors you made this pillow in. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. And so yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!